The man they called Muhammad sat in his old Ford Transit van and watched. It was 2 a.m. The empty farmhouse was set on the edge of the village, with a 50-foot garden bordering the open field to the rear. Muhammad had scouted the property the previous week. It was isolated and remote, half a mile from the nearest neighbour. The owner had died 6 months before, and it was available at a very reasonable rate thanks to the fact that it was directly beneath the flight path of the nearby airport. Muhammad stepped down from his van and made his way onto the short gravel drive and up to the front door. He took latex gloves, overshoes and a hairnet from his pocket and put them on. He had no intention of leaving any forensic evidence that might be used to prove he had been inside the property. His sponsor had made it very clear that this was to be a completely pristine operation, and it would be. Muhammad understood the reason for that very well. He had been scrupulously careful with what had happened at Westminster, ensuring that there were no threads that could be followed back from the bombers to him. The bomber who had failed and lost his nerve had been shot, and his body had been dumped into the river. There were no loose ends there, and there would be none here. The door was locked, but it was a simple enough thing to pick it. He went inside and waited in the hallway for a moment, just listening. There was nothing, not that he was expecting anything. The property was modest. The door opened into a small hallway, which, in turn, offered access to a kitchen, dining room, living room, and conservatory. Muhammad checked each room, ensuring that there was no one else in the house. He went back outside again, got back into his van, and reversed it up the drive. There was a long transport case in the load area. It was 5.5 feet long, made from aluminium and painted in forest camouflage. He pulled the case toward him, flipped it onto its side so that he could reach down for the handles, and hauled it out. It was heavy. He closed and locked the doors and carried the case into the house. Muhammad rested the case on the floor of the living room, flipped the clasps and opened it. Nestled within the embrace of hard-form internal cradles was a shoulder-mounted 9K-38-8 Igla-S launcher with a single missile. It was a Russian surface-to-air system, designated by NATO as Grinch.